I can taste your words. I can taste your I can taste your words. I can taste your.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. Happy Monday, wherever you guys are. So I am here today with Brenda and my toddler is driving me nuts here. Ivy, come on. I can't. I have my event now. Yeah, it's okay if he wants to come in. She's worried about the cat. Let me see. Where is Brenda? Let me see. Brenda. Hello. I'm going to bring Brenda on to the live stream, and then we're going to make sure she gets on to LinkedIn. So let me see.
Hey. Ooh, I got to adjust my camera.
Okay, Brenda, I think you're muted. Let me see. Or are you?
I think you can hear me. Okay, I'm joining LinkedIn, but I got to mute my computer. There we go. How's that?
Oh, I can hear you just fine.
Okay, good.
So now I can hear you on LinkedIn perfectly. Let's see if people can hear you. Come here, Ivy. Say hello.
Hi.
This is my daughter, Ivy. She always has to make an appearance. I think she's going to be like a Hollywood star or something.
Maybe she just
for those-
she likes spending time with mom, right?
Exactly. Okay, so for everyone who's joined here, we are recording this over on YouTube, so via StreamYard. So technically we are live right now on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook on Krista Leone. So for anybody who has to like drop off, but you're hanging on Brenda's every word, never fear, because in my world, we repurpose everything. No piece of content goes wasted. So this is definitely going to get repurposed. So let me introduce you, Brenda. So first of all, everybody, I am going to check out, where did that go? Hold on. I'm looking for.
Can I help you in any way, Krista? Let me know. I'm happy to co-host with you or help you out as you're going
You'll
ahead.
see. Well, I know you're like the pro. I feel embarrassed because Brenda is like watching me here on StreamYard struggling, where LinkedIn didn't give me LinkedIn Live until they opened it to the public. So like when they announced creator mode. So I think I asked for it like 12 times and they refused me 12 times. So I'm kind of playing catch up on my tech skills too. But this is what I wanted to show you guys. All right. So I don't know if you guys over on LinkedIn can't see this, but what I did was I put together a little video for Brenda to introduce her in a spectacular way. Ta-da-da! So Brenda Miller, welcome to the show. I'm so happy to have you. For you who don't know who Brenda is, she's an amazing LinkedIn strategy coach, an author, and a master marketer. So I'm very, very happy with everything you've done. And we'll play that at the end, but we want everybody to drop everything they're doing and follow Brenda so you don't forget, because I know all of you, you're gonna flake on us. So you're gonna get pulled away from this chat. So do not forget to follow Brenda. What are you gonna get out of it is we all want something from LinkedIn. So we want either to succeed in our careers, we want to build a personal brand, we want to become thought leaders. So I don't know a single person who's on LinkedIn for the cat videos. Okay, maybe one or two rare. So with that said, you gotta follow Brenda because you're going to learn so much how to maximize what you're doing on LinkedIn. Unfortunately, a lot of people are kind of just floating. Imagine a big swimming pool or a big lake, a wall of the lake. And there's some people who are just nailing it. They've got like jet skis and they've got boats and they're out there doing flips. And then there's people who are barely paddling. So if you follow Brenda, you're going to find out how to get on that jet ski. All right. There you go. So welcome again, Brenda. How are you doing?
I am doing great. So appreciate the time with you here today. And I hope I didn't throw you off. I looked back at your email. I was like, oh, she did say join 5 minutes early. And I think I joined like 2 minutes to the hour. So
time is money. I just wanted to make sure you didn't have any technical difficulties.
Oh, we're all good.
Yeah. You're like a pro, so you're not one of those people who has to install or update or like
No.
your
I roll with it. And then if we have a little hiccup, I don't like to call them mistakes. If we have any, learning experiences, I like to tell people what happened and why, and we kind of go along the way. And that's why when you were kind of getting things set up in the beginning, I'm like, hey, if I can help the co-host to grab the virtual microphone, if you will, while you're getting things set up, like I want to make sure you look and feel your best on camera and audio, all the other stuff. And if I can be a good, gracious co-host, it'll make you think better of me.
Oh my goodness, I love it. So before we get started, I just want to highlight what I'm seeing for those of you who are going to watch us over on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, you would see that we have something in the background, Brenda. So Brenda, you have written a book called Social Pie.
Social media pie, pretty close, but yeah.
So can you tell us, the curiosity is calling me, before we even dive into today's subject, I need to know why you named it Social Media Pie.
Well, it's intriguing for one. I'm actually going to grab a copy of the book. Let me see. I'm trying to think about which side it's on. So those people that are on YouTube are seeing me hold up a copy of the book right now. It's called Social Media Pie, How to Enjoy a Bigger Slice of LinkedIn. And, I've been doing LinkedIn training and coaching for a couple years, Krista, and I, at one point, if you're speaking and presenting and doing training, at some point somebody's going to say, do you have a book? And for me, it was like they kept saying, where can I buy your book? Or how many books do you have on LinkedIn? Where's your book? And I'm like, I don't have a book. I have a bucket list, which says I should write a book someday. But my struggle was always, there's a lot of LinkedIn books that are out there. So how can I create something that's anything really different? And I didn't create LinkedIn. LinkedIn created LinkedIn. And we are just among the people who are helping people to get more out of it. So And I was reading a lot of other people's books on LinkedIn strategy, and some were kind of very how to step one, go to LinkedIn.com, set up an account. Others were more higher level, focusing on Sales Navigator or other kind of areas of the platform. And it's like I was trying to figure out how to create something that was unique to the market and that also felt genuine to me. And, we're going to be talking about building genuine connections on LinkedIn. So to segue into that topic or kind of set us up into that, I wanted to make sure that when you read the book, you would feel like it was my voice. It wasn't just a technical how to And then I do weave in my love of pie. And like pie, the actual creative dessert is what I'm talking about here. So back in the pre-pandemic days when I would present, one day I kind of was mixing things up. And I decided to use the pie for my PowerPoint. And the first slide was just a picture of apples, and then the next slide was like apple pie. And I created this hashtag social media pie just for fun. And throughout the presentation, I made these pie references, how pie is like marketing. Have a slice of pie. As a waitress, I remember when I would put a slice of pie in front of people, it doesn't matter how you would put it, they would always turn the pie so the point would be toward them. And you'd always take that slice at first bite with the fork pointing at the point, right? And I started thinking about that's really what makes marketing successful is when you're pointing your message at the reader. It's not really about you. It's about them. And then this whole approach with social media karma, where as you know on LinkedIn, Crystal, you'll get the best results. If you're making it not about yourself, but if you're really making it about your community and engaging with others. So I kind of wrapped the two of those themes together. This is my love of pie and this social media karma element. And I created this LinkedIn strategy book, which is how to get a bigger slice out of LinkedIn. So another play on the word pie. So that's my book. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Oh my God. Well, I love that because I think that it really catches your attention. And if you're like me and love pie, you're going to be like, well, I just need to find out more because of the pie. But what you said is really important because today we want to be talking about how to build genuine connections on LinkedIn. And what I've been seeing a lot of, Brenda, is post and run.
Yeah.
And people kind of believe mistakenly that this is due diligence, which means they're like, oh yeah, I'm really active on LinkedIn. I don't understand why I'm not driving business or my network isn't growing faster. And when I look at their profile, immediately I notice that they don't even engage on their own comments. They just post or maybe even schedule the post. And they do that, 7 days a week. So they've got posts coming onto their feed all the time, but they're not ever giving.
Right.
And I think that's probably a big mistake. What do you think about that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I will kind of put a caveat on this. So yesterday was Mother's Day here in the US. And, I posted yesterday, and it's an emotional day for me. I lost my mom many, many years ago. My husband lost his mom in November. But I noticed I keep getting all these email newsletters that say, remember mom, or celebrate mom, or, things like that. And I posted on yesterday, and I was talking to people about how some of us don't have our mom. So when you're sending out an email newsletter that's saying remember mom or celebrate mom on this special day, it's really emotional. And I said, some people are adding an opt out of these types of communications because they're respecting the fact that we don't have a mom and we don't want to say. And I posted, and it was an emotional post for me, and I posted and I walked away from it. And at the end of the day, I came back on, and there was all kinds of people weighing in on it. And I actually got a couple of people private messaging me as well. I at least went back and I liked every one of those posts, but that's something very rarely do I not respond. I mean, it felt to me out of character, but I also didn't want people to feel like I was over commercializing something that I was saying is over commercialized. And, there's a human element as a part of it. On the whole, though, Krista, I mean, when I post on LinkedIn, I will post at a time of day that I can at least monitor for comments within the next hour or so. And then knowing later on in the day, I want to go back and monitor and reply to the other comments, because it's kind of like you're throwing a conversation out to the room when you post. And if I were talking to you, Krista, I wouldn't just say something to you and then walk away. And if you said something back to me, I would acknowledge you. I wouldn't just nod my head and walk away. I would turn back to you and I would say, thank you for your comment. So it's etiquette. It's really good form. And it also will really help you to be more successful. And since we're talking about this, creating genuine connections and genuine engagement, if you're using these automation tools, these scheduling tools, Buffer, Hootsuite, there's a bunch of Planable's, a newer one that I'm looking at right now. It's okay to use them if you're trying to get back some of your time in terms of planning content, but just don't ignore your community on the back end. Like when you're getting comments, you definitely need to take the time to add some engagement. And I see we've got about 18 people listening in the audience. If you agree with me, give me an emoji right now and let me know that you agree with me. I think there's a thumbs up, a little applaud thing, the heart. Go into, if you're listening to this on audio right now, go into chat and give us a thumbs up if you agree with that. There we go. We got some people watching, people listening.
So you're checking if people are paying attention, huh, Brenda?
Yeah. I don't know. Do you use this technique at all for audio? I don't have LinkedIn audio yet, so I don't have access, but I've seen other people do this. They're using reactions to get engagement through audio. So I want all of you to know, I see Vicky, Mark, Bawa, Sue. Oh, hey, Sue, Murad, Ariel, Arthur. I see all these people, names I know. And Chris Colt, I see, is in the audience right now. So when I see the emojis popping up and I say their names, it helps to create that engagement. Like Chris knows that I was here. Sue knows that I saw her reaction popping up. I mean, this is part of, I think, the success of LinkedIn is genuine person-to-person engagement. And I'm always approaching it from a one-to-one perspective. I'm not trying to reach thousands of people. I'm trying to let you know, if you're listening, if you're watching, that I see you, or if you're commenting, that I saw your comment. I'm trying to reach that one person. I think that's really the power of genuine engagement.
So I want to share with you real quick a strategy that I've kind of used that's helped me manage my time, because like everybody here, time is limited. So spending 8 hours a day on social media is not a good use of anybody's time, nor will it help you in the end. So what I've been doing is putting on a timer and going in 10-minute bursts, where I literally have my iPhone set for 10 minutes and I'm watching it while I'm using my computer and I'm engaging. And I'm like, I'm going in and I'm going to check. Sometimes I hit up people who are top of mind in my head, and then I try to vary it up, because I don't want to over engage on somebody all the time. I even had one woman tell me that she was worried that I was always on her posts.
Really? Was it somebody you didn't know very well, or
it's reloading?
It's a little bit of a hiccup. Okay, I'm hearing you okay on audio, but there's a hiccup on StreamYard. Can you still hear me right now, Krista? I'm not sure. She might be going through StreamYard for her stream.
Yeah.
So.
Hold on.
We'll keep it going. This is the great thing about technology. By the way, for those who want to, we're also streaming this on YouTube. If you want to get the link to find us on YouTube, go to my post. Where was it? It was yesterday. My post, I think I had 3 graphics in it. Maybe it was Friday. Maybe it was even Saturday. It was Saturday. My Saturday post, there's 3 graphics in it. And inside the post, I have a link to come on over and watch it on YouTube at the same time that we're doing this LinkedIn audio. One of the challenges of audio is we can't interact with comments and things like that. So that's why I love that Krista has a YouTube set up for us. We can do some things in there. Is it smoothing out now, Krista? Can you hear us okay?
Yeah. So unfortunately, Brenda, I'm in the mountains. So for the past year or so, I've had the same problem. Once in a while, the wonderful mountain network decides to let me down. So, but I can hear you. And so I'm hoping that we're going to be good. I want to make it easier for everybody. So if you do want to catch this later, you can just go to chrismaleone.com/WT, which stands for YouTube. And if you hit that, you'll go right to my YouTube channel, and you will see that all my streams are you will see all the most recent streams.
Krista, did we lose you again? Gotta love technology sometimes. I'm not hearing Krista at all, and my StreamYard that's in front of me is showing that she's frozen up. So while we are waiting on that, hey, I hope everybody's having a good Monday. If you're having a good Monday, go into the reaction buttons in LinkedIn Audio and give me an emoji describing your Monday. Is it a thumbs up kind of day? Is it a crying, laughing kind of a day because you just gotta push through and bear through Monday? Is it an applause kind of day, or is it a love kind of day? Is it going to be a great best Monday ever? So let's see, Margie. You just went away. I don't know. Deanna says thumbs up. Mark is giving a crying day. Bawa is a thumbs up. Chris is a thumbs up. Sue is a thumbs up. And let me see who else is on here. Jennifer is a thumbs up. Vicky O'Neill is a thumbs up as well. My Monday's going a little better than my Sunday. Bawa is a heart emoji. It's always interesting, the power of mindset when starting your day.
You went all in.
Can you hear me, Krista? Oh, I heard something. I'm not sure if she's coming back in or not. Anyways, I believe in the power of mindset, but sometimes...
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can hear you. Can you hear us? Hello. I think we're getting a little Wi-Fi hiccup.
I heard you the whole time, but there's a lag. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. I'm here for you, so I'll follow your lead.
Brenda, yeah, I need to know this. I really, really want to know what your advice is for people who are thinking, okay, I've heard all this stuff about community, but I have no idea how to get started. Mm-hmm. So those are maybe the people who are coming and posting and running, but they want to change their behavior. What could they do right now, like over the next week or two, to start building community?
So first thing is, it's actually going to be, it's going to feel a little bit counterintuitive. I'm going to say, instead of focusing on what you're posting, go into the homepage for 10 to 15 minutes every day and just spend time engaging with others. Scroll through. So when you see posts from folks that take a second to give it a like or a reaction. And maybe 2 to 3 times a day at minimum, you want to leave a thoughtful comment of 5 or more words. So right now I'm in my LinkedIn homepage. You can either click on the in symbol or the home to go back to homepage, just so you all know. I see Aaliyah Turner popping up on here. Anytime I see one of Leah's posts, I always give it some type of reaction. If I have the time, I'll read through it and I'll add a thoughtful comment. She does such a great job of replying back. And she's the kind of person, she's got a huge network. So I know when I comment in there, it's helping her, but it's also helping me. Because some people will click to come back to my profile when I leave a thoughtful comment. And then I see Sandra Long. Sandra's a fellow LinkedIn trainer or coach. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll just go into comments and I'll just say, adding a comment to help spread the word. And by doing so, that comment is now being broadcast out to a portion of my first level network. It's also helping Sandra to get more reach for her original post. And I'm building up that social media karma so that the next time I post something and Sandra sees me coming up in the homepage feed, she's going to be more likely to want to return the favor. The other thing I tell people to do is when they're scrolling through their homepage feed, start to notice what is catching your eye, catching your attention. I'm seeing a post right now on my homepage from Julie Bauer, and it looks like somebody graduated over the weekend. I see somebody in a cap and gown, and I'm kind of pausing to look at who is it. And then I see other posts in here that just aren't getting a lot of engagement. And I'm trying to figure out why didn't they get engagement? Oh, well, there's no visual, or it looks like it's salesy thing. Sometimes I'll see posts from people I don't want to see anymore in my homepage feed. So I click on the 3 dots and I will unfollow, or maybe I say I don't want to see this post anymore. But in this particular instance, I don't want to see this person anymore. So I'm going to unfollow the person. And that's helping to tell the algorithm, what do I want to see more of in my homepage feed? So that's what I do. Focus on, shifting from just the posting to starting to do more from a community engagement standpoint, going through the homepage feed, liking posts from people that are of interest to you, people that you support. And here's another thing. I don't know who it was. I think it was Richard Vanderblom. He was publishing a report on LinkedIn homepage feed, and he said you will start to see more company page posts if you scroll down 30 posts. So here's what I'm kind of challenging people to do is start scrolling, don't read everything, but just maybe do a little bit of engagement at the top of the homepage feed, and then scroll down a bunch, and you'll start to see posts from people that you haven't seen in a while at the bottom, including posts from company pages. that you have followed that for whatever reason, LinkedIn doesn't push up into the homepage feed? Well, not whatever reason. I know why. You know why. It's because they want to reward advertisers for getting in the homepage feed. And they, similar to Facebook, we just don't get as much reach for organic posts for our pages. So that's my tip. Go into the homepage feed. We've all got the same 24 hours in a day. I do not get 48 hours in a day. I get 24. Some days I feel like I get 12, but we all get the same time. It's all in how you segment that time, and whether you're doing time blocking, like Krista was saying, put on a timer, 10 minutes, and the timer goes off, you leave LinkedIn, or you're focusing more on, like my advice is spending that time on a specific activity. You have to kind of figure out, you have to make the time in order to get more out of LinkedIn. So that's my advice there.
I love it. And one of the other questions I have, you mentioned curating your feed a little bit better by right-clicking and unfollowing, saying, I don't want to see these posts. You can also do that in your settings now. You can choose your preferences, but so far I've only seen it's possible to say, I don't want to see political posts. They haven't said anything more specific. Like, I would love to see LinkedIn let us curate by geography. I had one client who is based in India, but is 100% working for an American company and working with American clients. And he was complaining that LinkedIn only serves him India posts because they know he's in India. And so that could be interesting. I was telling him, you may just want to change your location to where your American company is actually based, which is in Houston, Texas, even if you're not there, because then I think that LinkedIn is smart, but not that smart. So I think you might get away with it.
Well, I think definitely changing the location to target the location that you are serving is a good practice. And whether you are based overseas or not, I think you want to be honest with people, because you don't want people to land on your profile and go, wait, he's actually in India. So maybe someplace in the about statement, you explain that, well, I am located in India. I work for an organization and my customers and clients are in the Houston area. So sometimes I see profiles where I don't see a location listed, or I see a United States as the country, but I don't see a geographic area. And I think they're hiding something when they don't show the physical location that they're in. But to your point, Krista, if we're really serving a community that is geographically centered, I would say change your location so that is aligning with that geography, because then your content's going to be more relevant for you, as well as for your network is going to be able to see more of your posts as well.
Do you have any advice about finding specific people? Because I think we're talking about scrolling through our feed and trying to engage with people. And then we're also kind of saying we're trying our best to curate who we actually see in our feed. But let's just imagine I'm starting out in a new industry and I've identified these are the target customers, or maybe I'm looking for a job. These are the target companies that I want to reach. How would I go about that? Do you have any advice because remember, our time again is limited. So I can't rely on just going through my feed or browsing every single day, right?
There's two ways to approach this. One is I'm gonna promote a LinkedIn tool right now, LinkedIn Sales Navigator, and I do not work for LinkedIn, and I do not make any money if you pay to upgrade to any of their paid solutions or paid services. But Sales Navigator is a really great tool because we can actually add people to lead lists, or we can add companies to lists. And Sales Navigator is actually a separate version of LinkedIn. And when you go into Sales Navigator, it's going to show you, and you can click on what lead list do you want to look at. So it actually does the work for you of serving up posts from those people or from those companies. And it also shows you updates, people that change jobs or other notifications. So it really is a good way of doing what you're describing, curating that content so it's the people that you want to see. And what I love is I can have different lead lists. So I have one that's called prospects. I have one that's called proposal submitted, another one called current clients, another one called former clients. So I can screen through those lists pretty quickly, and it's not showing me all 830 million LinkedIn members. It's only showing me the people that are in those lead lists. Now you do have to pay. And again, I don't work for LinkedIn, but I think right now it's $79.99 a month for Sales Navigator monthly. And if you pay annually, you get a discount. For me, it's worth it because time is money. And I think about what I'm charging people to do LinkedIn coaching, strategy work, things like that, and the time it would take for me to do what Sales Navigator does. Now, you can do it for free, and let me now shift to that as a solution. You can create an Excel file, and you can put in people's names, the name of their company, the industry. I mean, you can create however many columns you want, and then you can use filters and things like that to go through it. Just make sure that one of the columns contains their LinkedIn URL. Now, be careful if you're using that instead of Sales Navigator. And the caution is, if you're opening up multiple profiles, I would say don't open up more than 5 or 10 profiles at a time, because then if you open up too many profiles, the LinkedIn powers that be are going to think that you're using automation, and they're going to, you might get a warning. You might get a, hey, we're noticing suspicious activity. And they might freeze your page for a second. And then you might get kind of freaked out going, what's going on? I'm not doing anything illegal. I'm just opening them in different tabs. That's what I do, right? I do the same thing. But eventually you might get a message from LinkedIn saying you cannot access your account for a certain amount of time or something. You're basically being thrown into LinkedIn jail for using this process of looking up multiple profiles at the same time. So be careful with that. I would say don't look at more than 5 profiles at a time. I have seen some people in that method of creating an Excel file, instead of just pushing it to putting the link to the person's homepage on their profile, they're including the link to go to the activity feed. So you can go to their activity feed. It's kind of a hyperlink way of doing so. Now, that is a little bit more manual than using Sales Navigator. You do have to kind of take the time to open each of those up separately, but you don't have to pay money. So if you're worried about paying that subscription fee, if that's not within your budget, certainly using Excel as a workaround. Just be careful.
I have a third option. I'm interested if you've ever heard of this version. So I've done both of what you described. When I ran my virtual reality agency in San Francisco, we were looking for very specific type of tech companies to propose our services to. And what we did was we used external lists from conferences that we attended, awards ceremonies. So every year they would select like the top companies in an industry for tech. And so we would use these kind of lists, and I would give this to our intern. And I would say, okay, you've got these 5 different sources, right? Like the San Francisco Business Times, the Palo Alto Business Times, the Silicon Valley Best Awards. So I had these very specific research lists, and I would say, so you take these lists, and then you're going to one by one follow them on LinkedIn, and you're going to engage on their posts. So that was like my way of not triggering the LinkedIn algorithm, because these things were coming from either a digital platform that I was pulling from, or we actually got a book every year mailed to us to our offices that said like the best of 2020, 2021, and you would find your industry, like whatever you're into, biochemistry, but it was all really well researched, and so that was a way of us connecting and starting to build relationships with those companies and create our own list. So I don't know if that even counts, but
yeah, I think one thing to be careful of there, and I don't know if you were you don't have to answer this, but were you giving your intern your login and they were going onto your account? If so, be careful, because LinkedIn technically says you shouldn't share logins, but I know they kind of look the other way for executives, because they don't have the time to do this themselves. They have an agency, or they have an executive.
It's true. You're like, Gary Vee, that's not him. Come on, guys.
Well,
we all know that.
I mean, and they look the other way, but I think the bigger issue, I feel like, and since we're talking about genuine connections and building genuine relationships today, is I always tell my clients, I don't do that I will not go onto your account and post for you or like or comment for you. I will train you how to do so. I will teach a man to fish, so to speak, but I will not do the fishing for you on that. Because there may be an interaction with a person that you actually do know. And if you're having somebody else handling engagement for you, they're not going to have the insights of that relationship. And they may say something that just is more, cold and impartial, whereas you might have said something a little bit more thoughtful in the response. Or, even worse, what if that person reaches out to you and says, hey, thanks for your comment on my post last week, and you're like, I mean, you can look it up, you can look back and look it up, but what if you don't remember what was said? Unless you're logged
Absolutely
in?
not. I've been very eminent in the past in my content about posting. Please don't do that because it's too dangerous. I just spoke with Chris Colt, who's a community expert. Shout out to Chris, who's in the audience, about this conversation over the weekend. And I said, there's this one person who's like this mega networker on LinkedIn, but it's clear he's using automation tools and different, people logging into his account because he keeps DMing me the weirdest things.
Yeah.
I'm like, but we just talked about that a week ago and you're asking me the same question. Or his voice will change, like the tone of the message sounds really different. And a few times I've gotten DMs where I said, is this you?
I was gonna say, do you call him out on it? Because I would call him out on it,
I'm like, hello, like, are you? And I'm like, can you like do video chat right now? Like, take a video of yourself because I'm thinking your account's been hacked, man.
Yeah.
And one time, it's sad, Brenda, because speaking of building community, so not everyone is a master networker, okay? So even listening to what you're describing right now, like using Sales Navigator or whatever tool you may, legit, please, people, stay legit. But you're using this way of trying to reach out to people. But what do you actually say to them? So I think people who resort to these kind of trying to game the system, hiring other people to do it, a part of it is time, but part of it is they just have no idea what to say. They don't know how to do outreach at all. Do you have any tips or any actual trainings in this area?
I would say be a human being. I mean, I don't think it's difficult. It's kind of like when you go to a networking event and you're up at the coffee station, you're getting a cup of coffee. I mean, what do you say to the other person? Hey, nice weather we're having today, isn't it? I mean, you wouldn't like pull out your book of networking responses and say, what do I say when someone says nice weather we're having? I mean, you're talking to people, you're talking to human beings, and I don't think there's a quick way. I don't think there's shortcuts to this. I think it's just, what you're trying to do when you have conversations with people, you're trying to show that you're interested, that you are actually paying attention to the conversation, that you're participating in it as an equal. You're not like pitching your services and moving things in a different direction. I'm an introvert at heart, so it doesn't mean I don't like public speaking and I don't like networking. It just means that after an event, I tend to kind of need quiet time to reflect and re-energize myself. And I've always been an introvert. Even in school growing up, I hated when the teacher called on me. My heart would race and I would get all sweaty and my lips would chatter and, or my teeth would chatter, my lips would be trembling and stuff. And I started kind of, I guess, just watching human behavior, like watching how do people interact, how do people get more confident. And I started reading books and doing Toastmasters and doing all these other things. And I think it's trial and error, and it's a lot of reflection about what works and what doesn't work. I still have those conversations that replay in my head. This today, I was at an event in person last week. It felt really weird to be out in public because we haven't been doing this for a while. And I walked out. It was funny. I walked up to this event and it was somebody I knew. So I walked up to the person I knew and I said hi, and she was having a conversation with another gentleman. And right away, I could tell this third person. This gentleman was not the type of person I want to have a conversation with. Everything that was brought into the conversation, he turned it into something about himself, and he made it a very self-centered, selfish kind of conversation where he was observing, and he wasn't making it participatory. He wasn't saying, "What do you think?" It was, that reminds me of this thing, and he went in a different direction. And probably 2 minutes in, I interrupt. She had asked a question, I had responded, and he interjected with one of his stories yet again. And I said, you know what? I said, excuse me, I'm going to go find the ladies' room. Where's that ad again? And she told me, and I went and found the ladies' room. And then afterwards, I went and found another group to talk to instead. So some conversations aren't good conversations, and it's okay to walk away from them. Even
so on LinkedIn, I'll use that. I'll be like, oh, thanks for connecting, but I have to use the restroom on LinkedIn.
Wouldn't that be funny? I've got to go let the dog out, so I've got to close out my LinkedIn right now. BRB.
I have to reset the room. It's funny because that guy we were talking about with Chris, where I said I think it's not him. It sounds really strange. He's sending repeat messages.
Is he here?
Sounds different.
Is he listening?
No, luckily he's not here, but he has audio, so watch out because he has LinkedIn Audio Room as well, the guy I'm talking about. But I wanted to say that that's exactly what I told Chris. I said, not only that, but he only shows up when he wants something from me.
Right.
So he's like, hey, Krista, how have you been? I'm letting you know that I just have this event, you know, sign up here, clickfunnels.com.me, you know, like, you know what I'm saying? And so, and I was like, he never ever engages on my post, never comes to see how, like right now, one of my events never comes to my event. And it's all one-sided.
Mhm.
Oh, I disappeared.
You're still here. I can still hear you.
No, oh my gosh, you know what happened?
What's that?
Cameras unplugged.
Oh, no. Are you talking about on YouTube? Did you disappear on YouTube?
Okay, we're good on, we are good on LinkedIn audio, thank goodness, but on LinkedIn, on YouTube, my cable because I was getting excited and complaining. And I kind of start moving around my hands.
Yeah.
So give me a second, I have to get back onto StreamYard. But that's okay because we can talk with you, Brenda, about how to get givers.
Yeah.
Engage on other people's posts you mentioned earlier. Start, you know, conversations, I suppose, that aren't pitch slapping, right? That are treating people like human beings.
Right. Mhm. Yeah, and just getting into conversations. And I say I'm seeing the StreamYard on my screen. Just your video just went out, and I'll vamp for a minute or two. I mean, part of this is like, let's just be human beings. Let's help other people out. And I see Krista is trying to do some things with technology in the background. So if that was me, what would I want someone to do? I'd want somebody to come in and help me out with it. And similarly, you know, that's kind of my approach to engagement. If I see somebody posting on LinkedIn and maybe they've got a smaller following, but they've posted something that is really thoughtful and they just don't have the audience built up yet, so they're not really getting a lot of engagement, I will jump in on the conversation. And one of the techniques I use, I find this is really powerful, is in the comment, I will leave a thoughtful comment and I will end with a very nice question. I like to call them like a softball question. I'm going to throw it at you and it's going to be a really easy question to respond to. And that question might be something like, is this a book that you've read this year, if they're talking about a book in the post? So something that it's just adding to what they've already said above, helping to bring them back into the conversation, keep the conversation thread going back and forth. Occasionally too, when I see people that are asking for things in a LinkedIn post, I will, like, for example, can you share this post with others to help spread the word about our job posting or our upcoming event, things like that. I'll just go into comments, and sometimes I'll just add, without even thinking, adding a comment to help spread the word. I try to focus on 5 or more words with comments. And my tip on that is, I'm going to bring you back to when I was in high school. I ran track. I was never very good, but I did finish all my races. I think my best mile time was like a 6:46, which if you're a runner, you know that's not like super great, but it's not bad either. I don't know if I ever placed in any races, but I remember my track coach. He would tell us, like, when you're crossing across the finish line, you don't just run to the finish line. You run like 10 or 20 yards past the finish line, because then when you're crossing the finish line, you're running at full speed. You're not slowing down as you're getting there. So my recommendation for all of you is use 5 or more words when you are posting on LinkedIn, when you are applying back to other people, or when you are commenting. That's going to help to engage your brain to think about, what could I use as a more thoughtful comment? So you're not just going to say, great article, I agree, congrats. You're going to use 5 or more words in your response. And, congratulations on your promotion, Demetrius. That's 5 words. And I actually will count off on my fingers sometimes. Like, did I get to 5 words yet? Eventually, you'll develop that sense of, does this feel like it's substantial enough? Does it feel like I've added enough in here? It's a skill that you kind of gain over time. So, Krista, I see your video came back up on StreamYard. How you doing back there? Oh, I'm hearing music too, though. Is that your music?
Yes. How did I get music all of a sudden?
in the
I'm
link
getting some
audio
music.
bar.
Hold
Give
on.
us a reaction. Give me a little heart emoji if you're hearing some music. Maybe we can have a dance party.
Where's the music coming from? Hold on.
Hey, I don't know where the music is coming from, but I see Chris is raising his hand. Chris Berryman. I'm not sure if he has anything to offer. And I see Nabuyu is raising hands as well. Oh, I'm getting some feedback on here too. Are you hearing that, or is that not? Are you not hearing that? Okay.
Okay, I turned it off. Can you hear it? It's gone now.
I don't hear the music.
It was some kind of weird elevator music. But there's an echo. There's a really
I'm hearing
bad
an echo now.
So
yeah.
I'm gonna mute myself on the video and just keep talking on the audio for a little bit. And let you talk. I'll let you you answer.
I can keep talking. Sure.
Brenda, I'm putting you on the spot, but I'm so happy that you were able to make it and come on this call with me, because I think I don't know about you, but I feel like there's something bad happening with LinkedIn lately. Like, the pods have gotten out of control. There's so much automation tools, and I'm really sick of it. I really want to connect with people on a genuine level. And I think that we need more people to promote community and figure out how to stay connected, how to engage more with each other, how to take the conversations offline. I'm so happy LinkedIn offers audio now, because that's one way to stay connected. The newsletter is actually another really great feature if you guys turn on your creator mode to stay connected. LinkedIn groups, however, Brenda, yay or nay?
you get out of them what you put into them. I think it's like it's spring here in Michigan, and I was just working on getting my garden ready. And I know that if I plant, I'm getting feedback again. Krista, can you mute yourself? It's still like chiming, and can you hear that? It's
So are you unmuted on my computer, Brenda?
Yeah, I'm muted everywhere except for audio. If I mute myself on audio, you're not going to hear me at all.
Wow. Yeah. Let's keep. Let's see if it's still bad.
Testing 1 2 3. Yeah, I'm still hearing it.
Okay. Well, we're gonna have to mute. We'll figure it out later. There's a button that says having issues. I'm gonna click on that and see what happens. If I unmute myself, is it better?
I'm still hearing the.
Yeah, I'm hearing it. It's like a screeching noise.
Yeah.
That wasn't there before. I don't know why. Tech. I'm looking.
Is this mainly a LinkedIn audio event? If so, I was going to say, why don't you turn off StreamYard and we'll just finish this on audio?
Yeah, I'm going to turn it off because we only got a couple of minutes left. So
yeah,
we'll figure it out. Okay, I'm going to end the broadcast over on YouTube. Bye, guys. Come over to LinkedIn audio if you still want to listen to this on my profile, Krista Molione.
All right, but we're